Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive. We love bringing you these deep dives into the latest tech trends, and today we're tackling something that's pretty huge.
Yeah, this one's a big one.
It is. We're talking about Meta and their, bold, let's call them bold moves in the AI world that could totally change how we search for information online. I mean, it's kind of wild to think that Meta, the company that basically built its empire on connecting people through social media, is now diving headfirst into search engines, a space that's, been dominated by Google and Microsoft for as long as most of us can remember.
It is a fascinating shift, and it really speaks to Meta's ambition to, kind of break free from that reliance on those very companies. Think about it for a second. Right now, Meta depends on Google and Microsoft for certain search functions. It's almost like, relying on a rival bakery to supply your key ingredient.
Right. You're kind of at their mercy.
Yeah. Exactly. You're vulnerable by developing their own search engine, and one that's powered by AI, no less. They're aiming to control the whole process from start to finish, gathering the data and then delivering those search results to you.
It's like they want to bake the whole cake themselves, right?
Exactly. Own the whole kitchen.
And it makes sense, especially after, that whole Apple privacy change debacle a couple of years back. I mean, didn't that hit Meta's ad revenue pretty hard?
Oh, absolutely. Apple's decision to, limit data tracking really threw a wrench in Meta's business model. So this is a way for them to regain some of that control, and potentially, rake in more revenue down the line.
So how are they actually going about this? We keep hearing about their AI chatbot, Meta AI, and it seems like that's gaining serious traction. But what about the actual nuts and bolts of the search engine itself?
Well, one of the key pieces is this thing called a web crawler.
A web crawler?
Yeah, you can think of it like a digital explorer, constantly scouring the internet, gathering information from billions and billions of web pages.
So like a digital librarian just constantly expanding their collection.
Exactly. But here's the thing. Meta's crawler isn't just a copycat of what Google uses. They're taking a different approach. One that, might prioritize different types of content, different sources. And this could have a huge impact on what information actually gets surfaced to users and how it's presented.
Okay, so that's where things start to get really interesting. So we've got the crawler working tirelessly behind the scenes. What else is in Meta's search engine arsenal?
Well, they've also made this really strategic partnership with Reuters, the news agency.
Oh, wow.
To integrate real-time news directly into their chatbot.
Directly into the chatbot.
So picture this, you're chatting with a friend on WhatsApp about, some breaking news event, and boom, Meta AI jumps into the conversation with a summary and links to the latest updates from Reuters all within your chat.
This is pretty seamless.
No more jumping between apps, no more endlessly scrolling through news feeds. It's about delivering information in a way that's more conversational, more intuitive, right at your fingertips.
Okay, I'm starting to see the vision here.
It's a glimpse into how Meta sees the future of search.
And this brings us to Meta AI itself. I mean, it seems like this chatbot is becoming a major player in the AI world. Like, wasn't it just a few months ago that we were all blown away by ChatGPT? And now Meta is right there in the mix, pushing the boundaries.
Yeah, the competition is definitely heating up. And, Meta, they're not just trying to keep up. They're aiming to take the lead. Did you see that impressive user growth number that Mark Zuckerberg shared recently?
I saw something about that.
Yeah, Meta AI is catching up to ChatGPT at an astonishing rate, and they haven't even fully launched in some major markets yet.
185 million weekly active users for Meta AI.
It's a massive user base, and it shows you just how quickly this landscape is evolving.
Yeah, it feels like the AI chatbot arena is becoming like the main battleground for these tech giants.
And we, the users, are right in the middle of it all.
So Meta's got the web crawler, the AI chatbot, and this grand vision for a new kind of search experience. But the big question is, can they actually pull it off? Can Meta, a company known for, connecting friends and family, actually become a search powerhouse and challenge the dominance of Google and Microsoft? I mean, that's a pretty tall order.
It is. It's a David versus Goliath scenario, but they certainly have the resources, the ambition, the AI expertise to give it a serious shot. It'll be fascinating to see how it all unfolds.
I think that's what I love about these deep dives. We get to explore these complex issues, really understand the motivations behind them, and grapple with the potential consequences. It's like peeking into the future, one intriguing detail at a time. But hold on, folks, because we're just getting started.
Oh, yeah, we've only just scratched the surface.
We've got a lot more ground to cover in this deep dive. We're going to explore the potential impact of Meta's search ambitions on your online experience, the ripple effects on the advertising industry, and so much more, so stay with us.
We've been talking a lot about the nuts and bolts behind Meta's search ambitions, but what really matters is how all this could impact you, like how this could change your day-to-day life online.
Yeah. Let's bring it down to earth for a minute.
Yeah.
How could this actually change things for the average user?
Okay, well, for starters, imagine a search experience that's way more personalized and integrated. Instead of jumping between a million different apps and websites to find what you need, you could potentially do it all within Meta's ecosystem. So Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, all in one place.
So it's like having this AI assistant who knows you and what you're interested in and just like pulls up exactly what you need from across the web and makes it super easy to understand.
Exactly. And because Meta AI is always learning from you, it could refine those search results over time so it gets even more accurate and personalized.
Okay, that sounds pretty awesome, to be honest. But let's play devil's advocate for a second. What are some potential downsides here? I mean, we all know the internet can be a pretty wild west. Are there any risks involved with giving Meta even more control over how we search for information?
You're right. That's a valid concern and something we should all be thinking about. One potential risk is what's called the filter bubble effect. If Meta AI only shows you information that aligns with your existing beliefs and interests, it could limit your exposure to different perspectives.
The echo chamber problem. We don't want to end up in a world where everyone's just seeing what they already agree with. No one's engaging with different viewpoints. That could be kind of dangerous for critical thinking and open dialogue.
Exactly. And another potential concern is data privacy. I mean, Meta already collects a ton of data about its users, and a more integrated search experience could give them even deeper insights into our online behavior. So how that data is used and protected, that's a key question moving forward.
So it's all about finding that balance, right? Harnessing the power of AI to make search more efficient and personalized, but also safeguarding against, potential risks like those filter bubbles and data privacy issues.
Exactly. And that's where you, the listener, come in. It's so important to be aware of these potential implications and to make informed choices about how you use these technologies.
Knowledge is power, right?
It is. And speaking of power, let's talk about the financial side of all this, developing a search engine from scratch that can't be cheap. So what's the incentive for Meta? Is it all about trying to recover from that Apple privacy hit?
Well, recovering that lost ad revenue is definitely a factor, but it's also about strategically positioning Meta for long-term success in this, constantly evolving digital world as more of our lives move. Online search becomes even more valuable. It's the gateway to information, to products, to services, to everything.
So Meta's playing the long game here.
Exactly. They're betting big on the idea that AI-powered search is the future, and they want to be leading the charge. They're not just trying to catch up to Google. They want to, rewrite the rules of the game.
Precisely. And if they succeed, it could have massive financial implications, not just for Meta, but for the whole tech industry.
It's pretty wild to think that a company that started as a way for college students to connect is now on the verge of potentially changing how we search for information.
Mm-hmm.
It's really a testament to the power of innovation and how quickly technology can evolve.
It really is, and it just highlights how important it is to stay informed and be adaptable. The digital world is constantly changing, and we need to be ready to change along with it.
Well said. But before we get too philosophical, let's bring it back to Meta's specific plans. We've talked about their web crawler, their AI chatbot, their partnership with Reuters. But what about the search engine itself? Have they actually revealed any details about how it will work or what it will look like?
Well, that's the million-dollar question. And unfortunately, Meta's been pretty tight-lipped about the specifics so far. They've hinted that it will be deeply integrated with Meta AI, delivering that, more conversational and intuitive search experience. But the exact mechanics of how it all works, it's still a bit of a mystery.
It's like they're building this incredible machine behind closed doors, and we're all just waiting with bated breath to see what emerges.
I know the suspense is real, but that's what makes this such an exciting story to follow. We're potentially witnessing the birth of a game-changing technology, and we have a front row seat to this whole evolution.
I love that perspective. It's not just about the destination, it's about the journey.
Exactly.
And what a journey it's shaping up to be.
Yeah.
But I think it's time for us to take a step back and consider the bigger picture here. We've explored those technical details, the financial incentives, the potential risks and benefits. But what does it all mean? Why should you, the listener, care about Meta's search ambitions?
That's the crucial question, and it's one we're going to delve into much more deeply in the final part of our deep dive.
Okay, so we're back and ready to tackle the big question. Why does all this matter to you? We've explored Meta's plans for this AI-powered search engine, the web crawler, the Reuters partnership, the potential upsides and downsides. But Like, let's cut to the chase. How could this actually reshape your online world?
I think it's really crucial to understand that, search isn't just some tool. It's like woven into the fabric of how we experience the internet. It shapes what we see, what we learn, how we connect, even how we shop. So Meta's ambition to become a major player in search, it could create this ripple effect across all these areas.
We're not just talking about, finding a recipe or settling a debate about a movie. We're talking about like a potential fundamental shift in the internet itself.
Exactly. Imagine if Meta's search engine becomes super popular and it's seamlessly woven into those massive social media platforms they have. Suddenly, the information that you're seeing on Facebook, on Instagram, even on WhatsApp, could be heavily influenced by Meta's algorithms.
Okay, now you've got my attention. That's a pretty big deal. Are we talking about a world where Meta basically controls what we see and how we understand the world?
Well, it's not about control necessarily, but it's definitely about influence. Meta's algorithms would play a huge role in deciding what information surfaces to the top, what news articles you see, what products are recommended to you.
So like, let's say I'm really into sustainable living. Would Meta AI start like constantly feeding me articles and videos and ads about eco-friendly products?
Potentially, yeah. And that's not inherently bad. It could actually help you find relevant information, connect with like-minded people. But the flip side is you might end up in this eco-friendly bubble and you might miss out on other perspectives.
Right back to that filter bubble dilemma. It seems like there's this constant tension between personalization and making sure you're getting a variety of viewpoints.
Absolutely. And that tension is only going to intensify as AI gets more sophisticated and integrated into our lives. It's up to us, the users, to be aware of these dynamics and actively seek out diverse viewpoints, even if they're not being served to us directly.
So it's not just about passively taking in information anymore. We have to be more proactive in choosing what we see online.
Exactly. We can't just trust algorithms to show us the complete picture. We have to be critical thinkers, question our assumptions, and make sure we're exposing ourselves to a range of perspectives.
It's like we all need to become editors of our own online experience.
Exactly. And it's empowering, and it highlights the importance of media literacy in this age of AI. We need to be able to separate fact from fiction, identify biases, figure out if sources are credible.
It's like a superpower for the digital age.
You could say that. And, it's not just about individual users. Think about the potential impact on businesses if Meta becomes this search giant. What happens to other companies, especially those that rely heavily on online advertising?
Yeah, that's a great point. Could this create like a power shift in the digital advertising world?
Absolutely. Meta's entry into search could really shake things up for advertisers, especially those who've been heavily invested in Google and Microsoft's platforms. They might need to adjust their strategies, diversify their ad spending to stay competitive.
So we're talking about potential opportunities and challenges.
Exactly. Meta's vast user base and their detailed targeting capabilities could offer new ways to reach customers. But it also could mean tougher competition and potentially higher advertising costs.
So it sounds like the digital landscape could be in for like a major reshuffling.
It's a constant evolution. What worked yesterday might not work tomorrow. So businesses need to stay agile and adaptable to thrive in this environment.
Well, it seems like we've reached the end of our deep dive into Meta's search ambitions. We've covered a lot of ground, from those technical details to the financial implications to the potential impact on our lives and on businesses. What's the key takeaway here? What should we be thinking about as we navigate this digital world?
I think the key takeaway is this: Meta's move into the search engine arena is a major development. It's not just a tech story. It's a story about power and influence and the future of how we access and understand information.
It's a story that's still being written, and we're all characters in it. The choices that we make as users, as businesses, as citizens, they're going to determine the direction of this story. So stay informed, stay engaged, and most importantly, stay curious. The digital world is full of surprises, and who knows what the next chapter will bring.
And on that note, I'll leave you with this final thought. What if Meta actually succeeds in becoming this search giant? How would you feel about your online experience, your newsfeed, your shopping recommendations being shaped by the same company that's responsible for Facebook and Instagram? Just something to think about.
It certainly is food for thought. It's a good reminder that we all have a role to play in shaping the future of the internet. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.